Model and Bernie Sanders supporter Emily Ratajkowski defended Melania Trump against the negative comments made by a New York Times reporter. Now, apparently, Ratajkowski was hanging out somewhere and overheard a New York Times reporter refer to Melania Trump in a negative way. And she tweeted about it. Sat next to a journalist from the New York Times last night who told me Melania is a hooker. Whatever your politics, it's crucial to call this out for what it is, slut shaming. I don't care about her nudes or sexual history, and no one should. Now, again, she's not a Trump supporter. She's a Bernie Sanders supporter, and it doesn't even matter who she supports. I mean, I feel like liberals, most liberals, have done a good job in you know, speaking out against some of the attacks that Melania Trump or Barron Trump have faced as a result of what Donald Trump does, right? Melania Trump responded to this and said, applause to all women around the world who speak up, stand up, and support other women. So lots of model love happening here, which is sweet. And I'm glad that Ratajkowski did this. I think it's important for her to do it. But I do want to bring up something that we never bring up in these stories. The fact that liberals will do it, but conservatives never do it, right? How many conservatives did you hear speak out against those, you know, white women who called, you know, Michelle Obama a chimp in heels or whatever they called her, or the ones that attacked Obama's children for doing absolutely nothing, right? So they didn't say that those things were off limits, but liberals always go out of their way to make sure that innocent people shouldn't be criticized, shouldn't be attacked. And
those pesky liberals always trying to defend the innocent.
No, I'm just saying it's a good thing, and I like that liberals do that, right? And I hate it when Melania Trump gets attacked, because who gives a shit what she did? She's a model, yeah, she's a beautiful model, she posed nude, I don't care, right? It shouldn't be something that you attack someone for. But at the same time, I think there's a double standard and there's different behavior portrayed by conservatives.
So I think this story's backfired. I think it was a bad idea for Melania Trump and everybody else to talk about it so much. I'm going to explain why. First, let me get out of the way that I agree with you. Of course, you shouldn't call her a hooker, and et cetera. And I'm glad that Ratajkowski, or however you pronounce her name, is standing up for her. And remember, she also appeared nude in a video.
Yes.
So it's understandable that she would defend someone else who had appeared nude modeling. And I agree. And Jacob Bernstein, who apparently was the reporter who does not cover politics and was not saying this publicly, has apologized. I get why he apologized. Remember, he was just having a conversation. He didn't write a story about it. He didn't report on it. So it's a little bit different. So I think that, you know, the criticism against him, I get it.
You're representing yourself as someone from the New York Times, okay? You don't go out.
But is he not allowed to have a beer and talk to people, or does he have to represent himself as New York Times? Now, this was an event, so I hear you. It's a little different.
It's different. He's not at his, like, you know, homie's house having a beer and, you know, having a private conversation. He's in a public place and he's saying it loud enough to where Emily Ratajkowski can overhear the conversation. So I think that's problematic. Look, people are entitled to their private conversations. I don't want to pry into people's personal lives and their private, you know, issues. But in this case, again, you're representing yourself as a New York Times reporter, and you're saying these, in my opinion, defamatory things about a public figure, as you're in a public place. So he definitely needed to apologize, and I hope he learned a lesson from this, because it's not okay. Would you be cool with me, as someone who represents herself as part of TYT, to go out and say defamatory things about random people?
It 100% depends on the context. So if we're positive that this was a work environment, then I agree with you. Mm-hmm. If it was not a work environment, then you say whatever you want. That's your business, not my business. You're not at all times representing the Young Turks. When you're sloppy drunk, or I'm sloppy drunk, or high, or whatever, we're not like, step aside, TYT. We're representing the Young Turks, okay? So, and I'm not going to get into our reporters and our hosts' private lives, et cetera. Yeah. So that's why it's a little bit more complicated. And the reason I think it backfired is, apparently, then they came out and said, no, it's an unfounded rumor. And I was like, what? I thought he was just calling her names. Uh-huh. So apparently this is a rumor that's floating around.
Yeah, so let me give you...
So that's terrible. You made it worse. I didn't even know about it. A lot of people didn't know about it.
So I knew about it only because Melania Trump had filed a defamation lawsuit against the Daily Mail, which had written a defamatory article about her. You know, they implied that she worked as an escort. right? Again, defamatory. The Daily Mail has retracted it, taken it down, and Melania Trump is aggressively pursuing this lawsuit against them. I knew about the lawsuit because in the middle of it, the lawyer representing Melania Trump said that it did damage to her brand and that she has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to start slanging her perfumes and stuff, right? Which, by the way, you're not supposed to do
As the First Lady.
as the First Lady. But nonetheless, it was an interesting story.
Support independent media and get the whole Young Turks 2-hour show and other network shows all ad-free. TYTnetwork.com/join. Come join us today.